Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Kizer Vanguard Mini Sheepdog, except it does not have a flipper tab, and it's got this nice little opening hole here. You can get this knife right now, it's available. I'll link it right down below so that you guys can check it out, right down in the description so you can check it out if you want to. This is black micarta, this particular one. If they have other variants, I'm not aware of them. Black micarta and 154 cm steel for $69. I urge you to stick around and watch the review so you can hear my thoughts on it, why I like it so much. But yeah, this is a recommendable knife. This is a good knife. It's a knife that I'm going to say a lot of nice things about. So yeah, just wanted to let you know in case you don't want to watch the review, but I urge you to anyway. Thanks so much to Andrew for sending this in for review. I appreciate that. Thanks so much to my generous patrons who are supporting me right now. There's a link for Patreon down below. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. I've already done the measurements on this knife before. I think the one that I did was obviously was a flipper version, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it again anyway. Overall length, not a big knife. It's coming in at about a little shy of 6 1/4 inches overall. Overall blade length is coming in actually a little, it's like right at 2.75. Cutting edge is coming in at about exactly 2.5. So if you live in an area with a 3-inch blade law, as long as you can carry a locking knife, this is going to work for you. Let's go ahead and do size comparisons up against the Ontario Rat Model 1 and the Ontario Rat Model 2. It's going to be smaller than every knife that I put up here on the table, even the smaller comparisons. How about up against the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3? Same thing, though I will point out that the cutting edge is shockingly close to the Para 3, right? The Para 3 still got a little more cutting edge, right? But don't think that you're missing out just because it's a smaller knife. And last but not least, the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue, and the Bug Out. Once again, smaller than both. Let's go ahead and do carry profile thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. Yeah, it's maybe a little tiny bit, including the contour. It's almost exactly the same. How about length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3? So it's definitely shorter than both. And then even at, I mean, as far as like length, horizontal length, vertical height, it's also nowhere near the same height as either of these, so that's great. Materials, like I said, 154 cm micarta and a countersunk titanium liner, including the lock. I believe it's also milled out. Can we see? Can you see in there? Come on. Yeah, I think you can see it. It's milled out. Weight, I'm gonna guess this weighs somewhere between 2 and 2.5 ounces. Okay, 2.57 ounces. That's under 3 ounces, which means I don't care about the ratios, because on this channel, under 3 ounces means ultra lightweight, and I just don't notice the other elements, unless it's shaped like a brick or a sphere, in which case that would be a geometric issue. Let's go ahead and measure blade stock thickness. That looks fairly thin. I don't know, 110 thousandths maybe? That's just a guess. No, thinner than that, 95 thousandths. Okay, so there you go. Nice thin blade. Hardware check. Get out my tools. As per usual, tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable in this channel. You can find them right down in the description in the section that says My Tools. Pivot is going to be T8, and I'm not going to check the body screws. I already know. With Kizer, those are T6, same with the pocket clip screws. Not a big deal. I'd prefer that they were T8 or bigger, but they're not. Fine, whatever. Make sure you've got a place to put them and you have quality tools, and you shouldn't have a problem because the construction of this is pretty straightforward. It shouldn't be hard to take apart. All right, so we have the Sheepdog, but it doesn't have a flipper tab, right? This little guy, if you're choked back and putting your index finger in the position that they want you to put it in, is 3-finger. A knife that's this small. That's kind of why, you know, I've said it before, it's why I don't like knives that are smaller, because I just personally, I don't like my pinky out here just blah, you know, it's like I don't have a job, I don't know what to do, right? I want my whole hand to be secure on the knife. Now, if you choke up a little bit, you can definitely do that. And the only reason you can choke up on this knife is because there's not a flipper tab in the way, which is something that I really like. It's actually pretty comfortable to choke up on this thing. It's still pretty cramped. If you're like me and you wear an XL glove, or you've got hands that are slightly smaller than mine, you're going to be comfortable. If your hands are bigger than mine, if you wear a 2XL glove or bigger, no, it's not going to work. I mean, you can still get at least 2 fingers on it, so maybe your fingers are massive, right? But if you're like, I have bigger hands than you, but I don't care, having 3 fingers on it is fine. Okay, then you're good. You're gonna feel that pocket clip a little bit. There's a little bit of a bill. It's not really that big of a deal. This area is contoured, and all of these edges are nicely chamfered down, so really there's nothing in the way of a hot spot. Choke up, but be careful, right? It's not perfectly rounded for your finger like something on the Spyderco Para 3 where you can really, right? It's going to guard you against running it up on that blade. I would say this is you're safe with a single knuckle in there, and then just be cognizant of where your hands are. But it's pretty good, and I like that, being able to choke up on a knife that's this small and get right behind the edge. For what reason, I don't know, but if you really needed to do that, you could. I will say that, as far as I'm aware, the only flipperless version of this knife that is available is the Mini. I could be mistaken. Check the date on this video if they decide to make one. Don't come back in 2 years and go, you're an idiot, because I didn't know at the time that I recorded it. But if they have one available as of the date of this video and I wasn't aware of it, then you're right, I'm stupid. But I have to say, between this and the medium size and the large size is absolutely ridiculous. It's still fun. It's like stupid overbuilt and huge, but it's fun. The medium size one I think makes the most sense and would really accentuate the what's the word? The betterness? No. The quality of not having a flipper tab on a knife like this. For me, at least for my hands, having one the size of the medium one without a flipper would just make this ideal. So, Kizer, if you're watching, I doubt that they are, but geez, flipperless version of the standard Sheepdog, whether you do Vanguard with 154 cm and micarta, or you do the premium one in titanium and M390, either way, that would be great. Anyways, moving on here, deploying this guy is super easy thanks to that oval. It's real easy to just kick it out with your thumb to do the reverse flick, which is, if you're used to that, right? You can do the Spidey drop. Whoops. Good thing that this is not metal or wood. It's, what is this? Fake faux wood. What are we? Vinyl flooring, right? That's what this is. But anyways, yeah, it's real easy to do that, or you can just wheel it out like a normal person, right? It's nice. I like how they've got that. It's easy to do. Edges in here, they're a little angular, but it's not anything that's really going to irritate your finger, even if you're doing it over and over and over again. I like the jimping up here, right? Aggressive enough to catch your finger, but not so much that it's going to annoy it. These edges are nicely knocked down thanks to the finish, which is sort of a super dark acid tumbling or whatever you want to call that. That's fine. It looks all right. I think I would have preferred just a regular Kizer's standard tumbled finish. Always looks really good, but this looks all right, right? Especially in contrast to the micarta. And the micarta looks great too, this black micarta. It says 154 cm and then V34 blah blah blah, etc., etc. I don't know why we need that there, but it's there. It says Kizer, and then on the other side it says CO1C Mini, and then Sheepdog knives, which is who this is in collaboration with. So yeah, that's fine. Flat, that runs out about 85% the length of the blade, carrying, honestly, plenty of strength. This blade shape, which is, I'm sure you could guess, a sheep's foot, is plenty strong on this guy. You've got lots of belly and a very slicey edge thanks to the really thin blade stock. Yeah, this is going to perform well. Enough of a tip that you can dig into packages. It's just not going to be that good of a poker, right? So if you need a poker, this isn't the knife that you're going to want, right? But getting into packages and stuff, or doing draw cuts, even though there's some belly, if you want to do that, you can. It's set up for that. Real nice. Disengagement of the liner lock is easy thanks to this extra scallop here that's a little deeper than the liner on this side, so that's nice. You can approach it from the side instead of the front, which always sucks. I hate pushing my finger in from the top and then pushing over. I just want to push from the side, right? No double clutch. Real easy to just let the knife drop and then turn it and let it sort of sink into place. Real smooth too. This knife runs on bearings and it feels good, especially considering it's a little teeny tiny knife. So far, I have no, like the way that this is done is just, I wouldn't change anything. This is really great. It's just a nice, comfortable, natural, organic feeling small knife. Yeah, this is all great. If we take a look at the spine, we have a couple of standoffs. I like that the liners are countersunk and they're not lipped out here. That's great. Pocket clip is fine. I think it's almost identical to the clip that's on the larger ones. I think this particular knife could have had a smaller clip, but it's fine. It's not a deal breaker, and the ramp is nice. It's not too pronounced. In and out of the pocket, it's easy. It would have been nice if this clip was countersunk into the G10 scale, but it's not. It's resting on top, and it's fine, right? Carry depth is about right here, not too much of the knife sticking up out of your pocket, and honestly, it hides pretty much all of the excess height of the knife once it's actually in your pocket, so that's nice. Pivot has a pivot collar. It's a nice little touch there. Adjustment side is over here. We have a little bit of shouldering back here on the stop pin, so that's nice. And like I said, running on bearings, and you can tell. Lockup is sitting at about 50%, maybe 45. No blade, maybe a little bit of side-to-side blade play. That's probably because this needs to be tightened down just a little bit. Can we tell by the centering? No, but I'll give it a little crank on camera. A little turn of the pivot to add context to what I'm saying there. YouTube algorithm, I'm sure, is like, what did he say? Let's go ahead and just give it a teeny tiny, just the slightest turn. Okay. How are we on action? Okay. Still dropping, so that's good. And there we go. No blade play. So are we still centered? Let's look. I know people like to call me out on it yeah, it looks still centered to me. So yeah, there you go. This is a great little knife. Pocket clip is kind of you know, it's like if I'm gonna nitpick something, you know, sink that into the scales and maybe a shorter clip. But what am I gonna say here? This is a good design. It's been a good design. It's made better by the fact that there's no flipper tab. The perfect version of this knife for me would be the medium-sized one, and I think they really need to do that. That will sell immediately. By the way, this knife is not made in the United States. It's made in China. Do with that information what you will. Yeah, the medium size, like the big, this is a Goldilocks situation. The big one's huge and fun and it's hilarious, right? But it quickly becomes apparent to the end user that you can't, I mean, unless you really force it, it's not comfortable to carry around every day. Small guy works just fine. The flipper tab forces you into a 3-finger position, but it's fine. The medium-sized one is great, even as a flipper, but you still don't have the same ergonomic freedom. This guy has more ergonomic freedom than the smaller one of the flipper, and a medium-sized one would just be, oh yes, definitely. Materials alone make this thing like automatic. You know, if someone says $69 micarta and 154 cm, I'm already paying attention. Add on top of this, you've got an excellent design, right? Sheepdog knives, and they know what they're doing. You know, got the contouring and the excellent action, the great fit and finish, and you have the opening hole that's in the right place. And I mean, you can play with this knife all day. Your hands are never going to get tired. But also, more importantly, using it is it's a joy. And it's going to do what you want it to do. This is an extremely recommendable knife. This is going to go in my most recommended knives playlist, as well as my cheap knives I like playlist. I think no matter who you are, if you're somebody who collects really expensive stuff, right? Or you're somebody who's just looking for one knife, or you're just looking for your next knife purchase, this is great. This is one of those knives that I think like most people can find a place for it in their collection. So this is really recommendable. I mean, like, caters to a very broad audience. So yeah, check this out. Like I said, it'll be linked down below. Highly, highly recommendable. Very, very awesome version of this knife. Thanks again to Andrew for sending this in. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.